Hello guys, welcome back to this channel, and today I'm gonna be teaching you how to animate a bouncing ball. We all start with that. We all have, I'll show you my first bouncing ball, right? Okay, so here it is. Look at it. Nice neat little bouncing ball which I made. You can see the flash of color because I did not fully draw the circle, and then I used the fill bucket and I sprayed all over, and also I created sort of a nice loop. Anyways, let me just give you an example for what your bouncing ball might look like. Just a second. I was having a bit of trouble finding it, but finally I found it. Let me just show it to you as an example. Sort of like this. Alright, so let's get to it. Alright, so first what you want to do is name your animation. Then you could use any digital art app of your choice to make this background like this. But if you don't want to do that, or you don't have any digital art app, then just press this fill button and then choose whatever color you want to use. I usually use gray, but for this tutorial we are going to be using this background. Alright, let's begin. So what you want to do first is press on the scale tool and select circle. Now you want to move your circle to the correct side. Then here. So now select your color. I'm going to select black. And now select your size. I'm going to select around 2 pixels. The app is Flipper-Clip for those of you who are wondering what is this app. So first what you want to do is animate the keyframe. So this is the first keyframe when the ball is coming in. So now you might be wondering, what is a keyframe? A keyframe is a term in animation used for the main positions to give an idea about where the object or person is moving. So first let's draw the ball. I drew it wrong. Draw it a bit more up over here. Make it a bit more small. About that much is fine. Okay, that's the first keyframe. Now the second keyframe. The ball is coming down. So for those of you guys who want to mess around with the settings and want to know more, just here's a quick session for you. If you are wondering about this project settings thing and this frames per second, the frames per second is basically how many frames, as in how many pictures you need to draw in order to make 1 second. Now the ideal frames per second for animation is 12 frames per second. It's good to make smooth animations. They also made a bouncing ball. See, that's how common it is in animation. Anyways, then in Flipper-Clip, before you start, there is an option to select your size. I just select the YouTube default 720p. Okay, let's get back to the keyframes. So that's the second keyframe without the scale. Here it is. Now the third keyframe, the ball will start squashing down. So now most of you guys who have not animated before are going to be saying, hey, why is the ball changing its shape? It's not some squishy sort of thing. I know what you might. I know you might be saying that or thinking that. So the actual reason it is there is because of one of the basic principles of animation. One of the first ones you learn, and it's called squash and stretch. Squash and stretch gives the animation, a bit more bounciness, bit more, it starts looking a bit better, more smooth, if you will. So when an object is moving at a fast speed, you will start to stretch it, and when it suddenly hits some surface, then you start squashing it. So you see the ball is moving like this in this trajectory, right? So it's moving fast in order to show that we have stretched it over here. So then now the next one where it's hitting the ground, and that's why it squashes, sort of like this, right? So then ball, any amount of pixels is fine, whichever suits you the best. So the next keyframe will be the ball going up again. Now you want to check at what height the ball first started at. It's around about over here. Keep that in mind. So the second bounce should be lower, around over here. So make it squash and stretch accordingly. So the stretch, and then once it reaches its maximum height, in the bounce, it becomes a normal ball for about one frame. Like that. Again, a bit that. Move it a bit more. Now make it squash, and then continue this process until the ball has completely lost its energy. Right. So let's see how the animation is up to now. Yeah, it's going pretty fast because we are only animating the keyframes, right? So now let's continue animating the keyframes. Just repeat this process. Now it's intuitive. It goes up, and then its highest point is a bit lower than how it was last time. again. Yeah. Squash. And now for this last part, it becomes a normal ball. It does not squash or stretch again. It just goes up and then down and then up even less. And down and make it roll. Do it until it reaches the edge of the page. And then the last frame, the ball is not going to be visible. So now let's see how it is. Really fast. So now that we have done animating the keyframes, let's get to animating the in-betweens, as in the frames which are there in between. So time for the in-betweens. So now what you want to do is go to the first frame, click on that frame, and then you see this plus button over here. You want to click on that. So then the frame will come after. And now keep your scale. And now you want to animate the ball stretching a bit. Check it with the second frame. It's going in the second frame, it's going a bit more down, so move it accordingly. Even more down, so now just adjust it until you get the correct place. Over here, one in between might be enough, right? Maybe at so now the second between frames 3 and 4. So do the same thing. Press on frame 3 again and click the plus button. Now you want to stretch it a bit more. Like that. Add one more frame where it's about to hit the ground. Check whether it's hitting the... It might overshoot a bit. So now I'm moving it back a little. So now I saw that it was landing in you see how it's hitting the ground like that and it's not showing that much impact, right? So you could double the frames, which makes it look like this, which if you don't want, which I usually don't put, just remove it and continue animating the keyframes. Do the same thing with frame 5. More. check, it's basically in the same place but a bit more up, so move it accordingly, like that. Now this is the highest point, so replay the animation until you're satisfied. So now this is okay, so add one more in between frame. Start reducing the stretch a bit. Now it bounces over there, goes up there. So now let's see. Right, I'll zoom it in a bit more for you guys. Alright, so now you want to fill it in using the fill bucket tool with any color of your choice. I'm gonna choose this blue and see whether it looks good. Yep, that looks good. So now just press on the area you want to fill in this case the wall, and just tap. Oops. If you've ever done digital art before, then you'll understand that Flipper Clip's interface is not that, complicated, mumbo jumbo or something. No, not the YouTuber. So now you can see that it filled in the whole page because I did not fully finish the circle, like how I told you in the beginning when I showed you my first wall animation. So now I filled it in and yeah. Oops, again. So this is the final result. Okay, now let's get to some of the common questions which I have asked and I've seen a few tutorials. What is this grid thing? If you press the 3 dots over here, then you get a grid option which you can turn off and on. If you turn it off, it will look like this. The grid is turned on in order to make it easier to maintain the shape and size. Okay, here is the final result.